Good day, and welcome to another broadcast of the Business Growth Summit 101. Well, I must say that we had a pretty exciting week that we have just passed. The launch of this program started on Monday of this week, and I want to say we have accomplished so much. I just want to share with the audience some of what we would have accomplished over the last couple of hours. In fact, just before we get on air yesterday, we had a call from GSA, which is the Government Service Association of the United States of America. And they clearly indicated their willingness to work with us. So that was definitely a big win. We also had a call from the ERC. The ERC is uh, the employees retention credit. It's a very unique program that really where the government find ways to offset the cost for businesses because of the global pandemic. So those are two outstanding calls among the others that we have received yesterday with parties who are willing to work with us. You see, this is the beauty in having a U.S. based business. The government, they are serious about doing business. They are serious about moving the process forward. And that again emphasizes the reason why we at Pitch Deck 101 LLC and Global Capital Inc. We really want to help businesses, to set up in the U.S. You have access to a big market in excess of 332 million consumers. You have access to technology, and you have access to multiple financial instruments. Today, you will hear some more about financial instruments. Um, I have a number of talented people in the room today. I have the great Dr. Felicia. She will be talking to us about access to capital. She will be talking to us about the BEAR method. If you have never heard about the BEAR method, I encourage you to stay here so you can learn a whole lot about real estate and how you can leverage the techniques that she's going to be talking about to position yourself to win in business and real estate investment. We have the great Shakira, Dr. Shakira. Today, she will be talking to us about appraisal, and there are multiple types of appraisal. You need to understand the importance of appraisal when you're getting into purchasing any type of real estate. So she will walk us through that to ensure that you have a great mental picture in terms of what to look for, things to do, practical steps to take when you're getting into real estate investment. Along with this, we have the mighty Jed Thompson. Well, Jed is definitely, a tremendous talent. He is currently pursuing studies in investment banking. He's a subject matter expert in branding and marketing, and today he will be giving us a different perspective on how to build your value proposition to achieve the level of impact that guarantees that you have a successful business. Because once you're building out your impact ecosystem, your impact strategy, it's going to go a very long way to ensure that your business is successful. Last but not least, our topic of the day, we will be talking about vision, influence, and grit. Yeah, vision, influence, and grit. And of course, we're going to be sharing with you the founders who would have built America. So if you want to know more about how America become the iconic country it is today, I encourage you to stay with us today. We will be talking about some of the trendsetters who laid that foundation for America to be what it is today. The big question that I want to ask you, do you have the vision, the influence, and the grit to position yourself to be as successful as the forerunners, the four founders, the business leaders who built America to what it is today. So we have a whole lot to talk about today, but without further delay, um, I will go for an ad break and then we'll get straight into today's program. Welcome again. Access to capital is vital for the sustainable development of every business. But in spite of this, we see millions of businesses struggle to access capital. Business Growth Summit 101 in 2023 has been built out to address this challenge. On this platform, we will talk about how to access debt, equity, credit, creative financing, and hard money lending. We will also work with our clients to ensure that you understand not only how to access, but how to leverage and how to mitigate these financial portfolios that will really give you, the entrepreneur, a tremendous financial competitive advantage. So we encourage you to join us on these platforms on a daily basis that will truly enable you to transform the landscape of doing business. Our sales communication process stands on four important pillars. One, you get to understand the sales process, the communication process, the pull factors of sales communication, and the push factors of sales communication. The success of every business ultimately rests on the shoulder of your sales processes. Business Growth Summit 101 in 2023 will give you the blueprint on how to build and apply this sales communication process to truly optimize the growth and cash flow potential of your business. So we encourage you to join us on a daily basis and learn how to apply these practical tools to growing and scaling your brands. Business can give you a tremendous competitive advantage. Why? You're able to access a very large market in excess of 333 million consumers. You're able to access technology, and also you're able to access a diversified financial portfolio, meaning debt, equity, credit, creative financing, and hard money lending. We at Pitch Deck 101 LLC out of New York, we have started this signature project titled the Business Growth Summit 101 that will give you a step-by-step guide in terms of how to start a US business, how to scale that US-based business, and how to cash flow from a position of strength. So we encourage you to join us on a daily basis as we take you through this journey of starting and scaling your business. Okay, welcome again to another program of the Business Growth Summit 101. I must say that this program comes to you with a kind compliments of Pitch Deck 101 LLC and 10X B&M LLC out of the United States of America. And without further delay, I want to welcome Dr. Shakira as a part of today's presentation. How are you, Dr. Shakira?
I'm good. How are you doing today?
I'm awesome. I'm awesome. I'm even more so excited because, I'm with you. One, you represent woman. Two, you represent exceptional talent. And I'm so, so proud of you. So I just want to say that I'm truly inspired by your charisma and how you apply yourself to what you do. I do believe that the way you do demonstrate the quality of leadership, if we can have more young people like yourself doing this, you can make tremendous impact on the world. So I just want to acknowledge you for being great.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Awesome. All right. I know today that you're going to be talking about appraisal. I know the appraisal process plays a very tremendous role in making objective and educated assessment when you're attempting to make a purchase in real estate. So I'm happy to yield the mic to you and have you take the floor. So I pass control to you.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. I am Shakira. I'm a real estate investor and I help people build wealth through real estate investing. Today, we're going to be talking about appraisals and the appraisal process. So, what is an appraisal? So, an appraisal is a valuation of your property. It can be for real estate, however, it can also be for business, collectibles, or antiques. It's done by an authorized person. So the appraiser has to be licensed. So what it does is it determines a selling price. It gives the fair market value of a property. Again, it has to be done by an authorized appraisal. They must have a designation from a regulatory body governing the jurisdiction of the appraiser. So home appraisals, they can positively or negatively impact the sale of a house. An appraisal is very important. So appraisals help banks and other lenders avoid losses on a loan. The appraisal, it protects you as the buyer. If the seller is selling it for more than the appraised value, then they will decline the deal. So it protects you from overpaying for a property. The buyer does have the option of paying that extra difference between the appraised value and the lender's financing, what the lender financing offers. So this is a way to protect you from overpaying for the home, getting an appraisal on the home. This appraisal is ordered by the lender and it's going to run a cost of anywhere from $300 to $450. However, in larger cities, it runs around $500 to $800. So this is the appraiser. The appraiser is going to determine the rate that you are buying the property based on the current market, based on similar properties. And so what the appraiser does, they go to the home and they are looking for certain things. They are looking for the home's condition, the age of the property. They're looking at the location, the number of bathrooms. They're looking at structural components and materials. They're looking at the size of the property, the square footage of the property. They're looking at updates and improvements done on the property, the style, the curb appeal. And again, they are comparing what other people are paying for similar properties that have similar number of bathrooms and bedrooms. So the appraisal, it avoids loaning more money to the borrower than the home is worth. So again, it is a form of protecting you from overpaying for the property. It also helps the bank avoid losses and protects itself against lending more than what the property is worth. So they are avoiding lending more than they would be able to recover for the property. So this is the appraisal property in the nutshell. Again, it is a form of protecting you from overpaying for the property. So again, my name is Shakira. I'm a real estate investor and I help people build wealth through real estate investing.
Thanks, Dr. Shakira. That was definitely insightful. So, if you are attempting to purchase a property, you want to be certain that you're doing the appraisal. The appraisal, as Shakir would have said, Dr. Shakir would have said, it really helps you, the consumers, to make an educated and informed buyer decision. And it also enable your investors also to make um, solid investment decision. In fact, um, most investors or almost all investors who are going to invest in you, they may never invest in you, particularly in terms of real estate, unless the appraisal is done. So I just want to add a little bit more to what Dr. Shakira would have said. There are three main types of appraisal. and it's important for you to know them. For example, there is the concept that we call the sales comparison appraisal. I believe the appraisal that Dr. Shakira just talked about is the sales comparison appraisal. There's also what we call the income capitalization appraisal. This is done more at a commercial level. So if you're going into commercial real estate, the income capitalization is the one that is commonly used. Um, and the last popular appraisal term that is used is what we call the cost approach appraisal. So there are different options, and of course, all of these appraisers, they have to be certified in your particular state to be able to conduct these type of appraisals. So the information that you would have shared earlier on, Dr. Shakira, is so important and useful. And I want to thank you as usual for making a powerful contribution, giving us a great start into this program.
Thank you.
You're most welcome. All right. I'll come back to you later on, Dr. Shakira. So we will now move to Jay Thompson. And Jay Thompson will talk a little bit about the value proposition. But just before I bring Jade up, I want to say what Jade is about to talk about is so important. Yesterday, he talked about the four critical area that your business should focus on when you're building your value proposition. The value proposition is not just about cash flow maximization. And of course, today he will talk about cash flow maximization. But if you're building your business and your business value proposition is not influencing your workforce, you're going to have absenteeism, you're going to have staff turnover, you're going to have a demotivated workforce, and that will definitely affect productivity and the cash flow potential of the organization. So what Jade spoke about yesterday is so important, and I'm so happy to have him come today to give us the second leg of how to build your impact strategy, how to build your value proposition to achieve impact with the consumers. Jay Thompson, how are you today?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
I'm awesome. It's always great to have you because I know that you do a lot of research, you do a lot of studies in your field. And I'm so excited that you come with a high degree of commitment to provide information to the public, information to businesses, to ensure that businesses are given a tremendous opportunity with the information that you're providing to win in business. It is our genuine belief that businesses that are able to apply the ecosystem that you're talking about, they definitely will win. So it's always excited to have you because of the powerful shares that you always make. So without further delay, I yield to you.
All right, no problem. All right, thank you for having me, and welcome back to the first or the sixth program of the Business Growth Summit 101. My name is Jay Thompson, and I'm the branding and marketing specialist for Pitch Deck 101 and 10X Branding and Marketing LLC out of New York. And in our last program, I've talked about the four strategic touch points. I've said that your value proposition must stand on four important pillars, which is how to impact your target market, how to impact the general public, how to impact your target market, and how to impact the business potential to cash flow. And I've talked very briefly on how to impact the workforce in our last program, but today I want to go into how to impact your target market. And I believe that impacting your target market is vital to the success of every business. And taking time to understand your target market based on the demographic data, the psychographic data, and the geographic data will significantly increase the opportunity to impact your ideal clients. And to impact or to fully understand your ideal clients, you want to conduct market research. But in conducting the market research, you must be aware of the type of research you're conducting, because you could be conducting one of the three types of research. One, you could be doing speculative research, you could be doing the secondary research, and you could be doing the primary market research. And the primary market research is what you want to be doing. But at the end of today's program, I'll be going into that. So without further ado, let's get into today's program. So let's talk about speculative research. And this is the type of research that you don't want to be doing as a brand leader and a brand manager, because this is where you sit in your office and you speculate and you make a speculation as an expert opinion. And in business, you don't want to be playing the guess game. You don't want to be making business decisions on assumptions, because this is like doing a business with a blindfold over your head. And can you imagine that a blindfold is over your head? And guess what? You can't see anything. And guess what? You end up hurting yourself and you end up hurting your ideal clients. And this is what you don't want to be doing. And you want to always have a clear mental picture of where you're going and how you're going to add value and fix problems for your ideal clients. And this is why you should not be doing the market research or doing the speculative market research. Next, I want to talk about the secondary research. And secondary research, it could be good or bad because you can see it from two perspectives. You can see it as outdated, or you can see it as up to date. And what you don't want to be doing is getting out-of-date data, because let's say that you want to get data on, let's say, babies, but guess what? The research that you have is 10 years old. And how reliable is that? You want to have up-to-date data. But I know that having up-to-date data is very important. And here's where we come to the primary market research. And the primary market research is the type of research that every brand leader and brand manager must be doing, because this allows you to think ahead. It allows you to see beyond problems, and it allows you to take informed actions to influence desired results. But let's go into the primary market research. And the primary market research, it enables you to identify your ideal clients. It helps you to identify your ideal clients based on their needs, their wants, and their expectations. You'll be able to understand their age, race, ethnicity, gender, marital status, and their education status. And it helps you to understand their lifestyle, their culture, their social class, groups and reference groups, and their interests. And last but not least, you'll be able to understand where your ideal clients are geographically located. It could be locally, regionally, nationally, and internationally. And the primary market research, it enables you to remove the blindfold over your eyes, and it allows you to build or to see the mental picture of your ideal clients. And this is why I believe that you should be conducting the primary market research as the brand leader and the brand manager. And there you have it. This is how to impact your target market. And if you want to know more about the Business Value Proposition 101 and want to know how to impact your target market, and you also want to know how to access debts, equity, credit, harmony lending, and creative financing, feel free to visit our website, which is Pitch Deck 101 and 10X Branding and Marketing LLC out of New York. Oh, and our website, which is pitchdeck101.org. And my name is Jay Thompson once again, and I am the Branding and Marketing Specialist for Pitch Deck 101 and 10X Branding and Marketing LLC out of New York. Thank you.
Wow, wow, wow. That was definitely informative. And Jed, I want to say I'm so proud of you. This is your first week in going global using social media. And you have people from all over the world who are looking at you and listening to you. And I want to say, being a public speaker is not the easiest thing. I've interfaced with public speaker who I saw froze at the lectern. All right. They're much older than you, much more experienced than you. They are froze at that lecture. But guess what? You are a fighter. You are throwing some punches and you destroyed it in style. And I want to say I'm so proud of you for stepping out, being brave, and doing your thing. So I want to say kudos to you, my friend.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here once again.
Welcome. All right. So next in line, I have Dr. Felicia. And Dr. Felicia will be talking to us today about hard money lending, how the process works, and she will also be talking to us about the Baird method. Pretty interesting talking points that she's going to be getting into today. And from there, I will be talking to you about the great minds who have built the United States of America. Those folks, they had vision, they had influence, and they have had grit. The big question I want to ask you today, do you have the vision to succeed in business? Do you have the influence? What type of influence am I talking about here? Stay tuned and I will give you that information. And do you have the grit? The objective of this platform is not just to give you information, is to really provide you with the content of information that you can take action on right now to move your vision for business growth and development forward. So as Jay talked about, building out your ecosystem to impact the consumer based on data, you may need access to capital to conduct your research. We can help you access the much needed funds to conduct your research. We can help you access the much needed capital to build out your business ecosystem to ensure that you're making impact, to ensure that you're achieving the objective in doing business. So this is not about talking and providing the information. We have that ecosystem, as Allure and Jade would have said, early in this week. 10X B&M LLC and Pitch Deck 101 LLC out of the United States of America, we are built out to be a comprehensive business support organization. We have tax consultants that will be working with you on tax issues. We have technical support that's going to help you to set up your business in the right way. We have technical support that is going to help you to build the business out in the right way to ensure that your business is successful. We have Dr. Felicia that is going to help you to access capital to achieve your dreams and your hopes and your aspirations in business. So this is not an information session just to say we're giving you information. We want you to take action to move your business to the next level of development. We are not here to gaff. We are here to do business and serious business. So if you're serious with business and moving your operation to the next level, I encourage you to touch base with us. Look at the screen. You will see the website. Tap into that website, study more what we are doing. There are a number of contact numbers that are there. Reach out to us. If you're a foreign national and you want to set up your business in the US, we have the entire ecosystem built out to give you a one-stop, one-house support to achieve all that you need to set your business up properly in the United States of America, in any state. Any state you want to set your business up, we have the ecosystem built out to provide you with that support. Any state that you're in and you need access to capital, we can put you in contact with the institution that is going to give you the funding that you need. And guess what? We will be right there with you, negotiating the best deals for you. We will help you to access the best financial portfolio. We'll help you to leverage financial instruments. We'll help you to mitigate the process. It is a debt mitigation when you truly understand how to manage your debt life cycle, how to bring down your debt cost. So regardless of how high your interest rate is. We can show you the tricks, the techniques, the processes to reduce your debt life cycle. If we are dealing with debt, we will talk to you about the importance of amortization, how to read your amortization schedule and how to leverage that. If you're dealing with credit, we will talk to you about credit mitigation tools that puts control in your hand. So this is a myth, and I want to say that it's a myth that interest rate is high. It may be high, yes, but you have control over this too. When you have the information, you have control over this. With our support at Pitch Deck 101 LLC, 10X B&M LLC, we have the subject matter on board to ensure that you have the information that enables you to win not only when you negotiate your funding, but you're able to win when you're attempting now to exit that debt portfolio. So there's so much of advantage in working here with us. So without further delay, we have the marvelous, fabulous, extremely charismatic Dr. Felicia. She's here with us today, and she has a lot of information that she will be sharing with us. She has tremendous experience in as a real estate broker. She's a licensed real estate agent. She is heavily involved in the financial world. And today she will talk to us a little bit about both areas that she specializes in, which is the access and the monies and real estate. So without any delay, for the delay, Dr. Felicia, it's so great to have you here today. How are you, Dr. Felicia?
Greetings, Gary. It's great to be here. It is absolutely wonderful to be here. You are, I love it. You talking about winning. I love that. We love and we want to win. We want to win and we want you to win. This is an international platform here with the Business Growth Summit 101, day 6. I'm telling you, this is everything. It's been exciting to be here and to be a part of it. And I'm just going to jump right in. I just want to piggyback off of Jay. You know, when we're talking about business value proposition, and he specifically honed in how to impact your target market. And when we look at business proposition, the bottom line is it's what makes your product attractive to your ideal customers. That is the bottom line. And as we look at the 5 different types of value propositions, where there's productivity, image, experience, convenience, and then cash flow maximization or profitability, I'm going to hone in on that area. Gary talked about vision, influence, and grit. Honey, those are 3 of my favorite words. Vision, influence, and grit to succeed. And when we look at this, specific to the area of cash flowing, of positioning ourselves to garner the capital, we know that applied knowledge is power. It's going to take some real concerted knowledge. You know, when we look at people and when they have vision or they have a dream, we know that goals are dreams with deadlines. And when we look at individuals that have this, sometimes it is not lack of the vision. It is not lack of the dream. It is not lack of their hustle or their grind or the grit. Some of it is just applied knowledge and the knowledge of how to garner the capital in order to strategically position themselves to ensure that whatever their dreams are, whatever their goals are, whatever the investments that they want to make, that they're able to do. Two of the basic problems that we found in Mother America when it comes to vision, grit, and an influence, or the ability to execute your plans, execute your ideas, is cash. The Benjamins, honey, here in the United States, access to cash, access to the ability to pay for the things that we need in order to execute, to make the investments, to do the things that we need to do. And then we also know that when it comes to real estate and real estate investing, that sometimes conventional or traditional loans just won't make it. Banks and credit unions are not trying to do certain things. So we're going to be looking at hard money, and we're going to specifically be looking at what we call the BRRRR strategy. And I'll break that down in a minute. Hard utilization of hard money to implement the investment strategy, the real estate investment strategy of the BRRRR method. So when we look at what is a hard money loan, what is a hard money loan? Hard money loans are short-term loans that use the property you're purchasing as collateral. We talked about this a little bit earlier, and repetition is the mother of learning. So we will resoundingly talk about this, because the utilization of hard money loans to build your business, to grow your business, to access your business, to sustain your business is critical. For many, this is going to be where the rubber meets the road. This is the cat's meow. And so when we look at whether you need revenue lending, merchant cash advances, whether you need accounts receivable financing, whether you need purchase order financing or startup unsecured business financing, 401k financing, securities financing, what you need, we got it here. It is not the money. It is not the Benjamins. All week we've been talking about setting up your business and the structure of your business. And we're going to keep speaking about that, because that is pivotal. That is the important part. Whether you need commercial vehicle financing, commercial real estate financing, equity investments, inventory financing, equipment financing, the small business administration loans or SBA loans or term loans or business lines of credit or micro loans, whatever you need, we have access to it here at Pitch Deck LLC 101 and 10X B&M or branding and marketing LLC. However, it is imperative that your business is structured properly. It is imperative that you strategically position yourself to have a solid foundation when it comes to your business, because even though with hard money loans, they are an alternative to traditional or conventional financing or traditional loans, it's still imperative. There are still criteria. There are still constraints that you have to put in place in order to access those dollars. And here at Pitch Deck 101 and here with this Business Growth Summit 101, we're going to resoundingly put that information out there to you, because we want to see you win. Gary talked about that at the onset, along with your vision, your influence, and your grit. We want to see you win, because each of those things in and of themselves will not get the job done. You have to strategically position yourself. You have to have systems in place. And we're going to continue to talk about that. So I'm going to continue on the topic of talking about funding and capital and cash flowing and cash flow maximization or optimization. So hard money loans. So they're based upon collateral. It is the entity in and of itself that becomes the pivotal piece of these type loans. So whether it's the equipment, and when we talk about equipment financing, that can be for any and everything, securities financing. Those things can be for so many different things. And we'll be breaking that down. We did a little bit of that earlier this week. We're going to continue to do that, to continue to break it down so that you have a clear understanding of what we're able to offer here at Pitch Deck LLC 101. So hard money loans are short-term secured loans. They are secured, that use the property you're purchasing as collateral. I reiterate that resoundingly. They use the collateral. You won't find one from your bank. It's not going to happen. Hard money loans are offered by our alternative lenders, such as individual investors and private companies. That's who they're offered by. They typically overlook mediocre credit scores. So credit score 680 and below, and other financial factors that typically will hold you hostage to fulfilling your vision, to implementing your goals and your dreams. So while we do jump through fewer loops, and when we utilize hard money loans, there still are, as I said, criteria in order to garner them. The BRRRR strategy, when we look at the BRRRR strategy, this is one specific strategy that is using real estate investment, residential real estate investment. It's a powerful tool. So for those of you that are out there, I'm telling you, you know who's crushing the game? Young people. Young people, they get it. I don't know what it is intrinsically. They gravitate toward individuals between the ages of like 20 and 35, 32, 33. They are just crushing it. They are taking this and they're understanding how to, you know what I think it is? I'll be honest. I think some of it is just, they don't have the fear. They just don't have the fear. They're like, you know what? I'm going to build my wings as I'm flying. They just, launch out there and they get they get it done. They make mistakes. And I think sometimes when you're a little older, you're more polished, you may have a lot more experience, whether you're educated in the real estate investment arena or not, that I just think that they just don't have that fear factor. So you see a lot of young people that are crushing it in this arena. So when we look at BRRRR, BRRR, 4 R's, B and then R to the fourth exponent, the fourth degree. We're talking about buying, renovating, or rehabbing. Then we rent. So these are residential properties, and I'm going to break that down a little bit. Refinance and repeat. Now, the reason that hard money loans become an intricate factor with this method or this strategy, this method of residential real estate investing, is because these homes would not meet the criteria in order to receive traditional or conventional loans, because many of them are sold as is. And as a result of being sold as is, they would not, the banks would not fund them. So when we look at the BRRRR strategy, when we look at the purchase of distressed property, and when we look at renovating or rehabbing these properties and then renting them out and then refinancing them. So if they come in at a high interest rate, which will happen with a hard money loan, we already talked about that. With hard money loans, they are typically high interest rate, but they're short-term loans. The impetus of them are meant to be short-term. They're not meant to be long-term. They will not be 15 to 30 year terms for the loan. They will typically be between 6 months to 1 year sometimes, and then also 1 year to 3 years. It depends on the terms of the loan. So when we look at it, then refinance and then repeat, do it all over again. Buy the property, which again is a distressed property, renovate or rehab it, rent it out, then refinance it, and then repeat, do this all over again. So when we look at the BRRRR strategy, it's a very, very, very powerful real estate investment method that many people are using. They're using it to amass great wealth. We know that with hard money lending, that house flippers, that's a really typical source of individuals who are garnering those dollars in order to do that, as well as others. Rental property investors are utilizing hard money dollars in order to invest in real estate, because again, the impetus of it is based upon the collateral. It's based upon the collateral or the property itself. I am just trying to think what other things that we can talk about specific to this. Again, this hard money lending is just a creative method of financing. It's a method that can help any individual that wants to get to the next level when it comes to real estate investing. It's a key level of entity to utilize in short-term investing. Individuals that need quick access, fast access to dollars, because many times those dollars can be released within 3 to 14 days versus with a typical or a conventional mortgage, which would take 30 to 45 days. So these are just some things as we look at cash flow maximization, as we look at the business value proposition and cash flow maximization or profitability being one component of the 5 different types of value propositions. And as we look at vision, influence, and grit, and people having the ability to access dollars in order to make their goals and their dreams reality. Again, we want to see you win here at Pitch Deck 101. We're excited that you're tapping in, but here's what we're going to do. The clarion call is for each one to reach one to teach one. So as you're garnering knowledge by tapping in, we want you to tell someone else about this program, the Business Growth Summit 101. This is a daily program, and we want you to begin to spread the news. It is internationally driven. We're meeting the needs of people all over the world. Folks from all over the world can tap in. And we want you to spread the word about this programming. We want you to not have stingy energy or stinking thinking when it comes to the program. We want you to really begin to spread the word about this Business Growth Summit. We are in this thing together, honey. We all want to win, and we want to assist you in strategically positioning yourself. But in doing that, the reciprocal benefit of that is we all share the good news about this Business Growth Summit and the information that's going forth. And here's another thing we're going to ask you to do. If you have a specific knowledge, if you have an expertise in a specific area, or if you have ideas of things you would like for us to talk about, definitely all of the information is scrolling through there. Feel free to tap in, send in your comments, send in your ideas. We are in this thing together, honey, and we all want to win. So, Gary, I'm going to toss it back over to you. Feel free to come back. My phone is pinging, honey. Folks are tapping in, Gary. They're tapping in, honey. I'm like trying to talk, and that's why I'm being thrown off my A game. I'm like, they're throwing me off my A game. People are excited. You know what, Gary? So they're excited.
I got you.
Okay, so back to you.
I got you. All right, just before you go, I want to say that was a powerful, powerful share. And I just want to tap into some of the things that you would have talked about. I'm happy that you mentioned the differences between hard money lending and traditional financing. Of course, because it's called hard money lending, there will be a higher cost for capital, but I'm going to come to that just now. The pre-qualification to access hard money lending is much lower. In the developed world, everything is based on your credit score. But even with a 300 credit score, there are possibilities for you to access, hard money lending. With a traditional financial institution, your credit score has to be above 680. All right, it has to be above 680, and based on what we are seeing, because people are not fully aware of the best ways to utilize their credit lines, so they end up into a lot of trouble. And this is exactly why Jade is drilling in to the importance of understanding your credit, your FICO score, and quickly being able to move from your FICO over to your Paydex. So that's one great point that you would have made, Dr. Felicia. But you made a number of other important points. As you go into the BRRR method, you talk about buy, you talk about renovate and repair. Something significant happened here. From the time that you renovate and repair, there's a concept that we call force appreciation. So from the time you do, any form of repair and renovation, force appreciation is taking place. That means that you have equity in the asset that you can now position yourself to leverage. That's putting yourself in a position of strength when it comes to real estate management. So that was a great point that you made there. So I just want to bring it out a little clearer. From the time you invest, an asset appreciates in two ways. You have natural appreciation and you have force appreciation. This is force appreciation. And if you know what you're doing, this is financial leverage. You also talk about rent. And here is where you're taking a piece of estate and you're making it now income producing asset. So if you know what you're doing here, again, what Dr. Felicia is saying is that you don't have to depend on your primary source of income because you are now renting. So you're leveraging the income producing asset to offset a concept that we call the PITI, Principal and Interest Tax and Insurance. And you will have to pay that if you invest in any form of real estate in the United States of America. But guess what? You don't have to go into your primary source of income. So as time progresses, we're going to give you a lot of hacks that you can leverage to build wealth in real estate. You also talk about refinancing. This is so much of gems that Dr. Felicia would have dropped here. And remember I said early on, hard money lending is going to come at a higher interest rate. Dr. Felicia clearly pointed out that hard money lending has a very short life cycle. That's a good thing. Now, let me put this to you. Regardless of how high that interest rate is, you can stop the life cycle of that debt within a month, within 2 months. So you are not incurring the high interest rate because of what Dr. Felicia just mentioned, refinance. You can move it from hard money lending, you can bring it to traditional financing, or there are other methods that you can actually use. FHA, you could even bring this to FHA, and FHA lending rate is about 3 to 3.5%. You may even be lucky, even that's with traditional lending, once you know what you're doing, to get the interest at very, very low rate. And I'm saying below the 3.5%. So refinancing has a whole host of strategy. And this is what Dr. Felicia would have alluded to. I'm just expanding a little bit in terms of what she is saying here, because we bring our debt mitigation tools to work for you, the investor. You're going to win. All right. You're going to win. All right. And the last thing that she talked, go ahead, Dr. Felicia.
Yeah, something else. You just triggered something else, because when we look at refinancing, here's a critical component of now why there's a shift. Is because remember what we said at the onset with the burst strategy, or with properties that will fall under that, or with typical fix and flip properties, is that they're distressed. A lot of times, what we call zombie houses, right? And so what happens is that once the renovation and the rehab takes place, now they are no longer, now they're in a position where they can receive traditional or even conventional opportunities for
funding. Yes, I'm just completing that trend.
Yeah. So that component, Gary, that I think that's really powerful. Here's the other thing, and you mentioned this even at the onset of the hour with the Business Growth Summit 101, is interest rates are actually falling now. So there's a decrease in interest rates, which is a good thing. It's we know inflation has increased. However, the interest rates are decreasing. They were around 7.5 or so just a couple of months ago, and now you can get rates based upon your credit score. Of course, there is that component that still comes into play, but you can get rates for as low as 3.5, and and um and while it's not the wild wild west like it was, say, a year ago, where with the low interest rates, folks were, real estate investors were buying places, and some, and then others, consumers were purchasing properties, and sometimes at really even above asking prices. Things have leveled out quite a bit. It's still low inventory. There's still low inventory, both with these types of houses, of distressed houses or zombie houses, as well as with just high quality properties. But interest rates have fallen. So I want to throw that out there. So the big piece with the refinance, though, is now, remember, the distressed property is now fierce and fabulous and beautiful because it's been rehabbed or renovated, and that puts it in a different category for funding. Back over to you, dear.
Beautiful, beautiful, and well said. You also made another great point. You mentioned again the credit score, FICO score. And I love that. And I just want to emphasize something here. Again, your credit score, your FICO score, will influence your cost for capital. So if you're not aware of this and you're using your credit lines in a wrong way, that is affecting your credit score, because your FICO score, it goes up to about 850. All right. So if you're at 600 or 300, as against being at 825 and 830, there's going to be major gaps in terms of how much you're paying for capital, because you might be going to buy a property that is similar to someone else in all specification, but you're paying a higher cost. The difference is your FICO score is low. If your FICO score is where it's supposed to be, you will be able to negotiate your interest rate. So there's so much here. And this is again the reason why Jed is spending so much of time talking about your FICO score. All right. So if you haven't listened to Jed, I want to encourage you to look back at some of the programs that he would have talked about to really, zero into what he's saying here and take it serious. The information that Dr. Felicia is providing here, the information that Dr. Shakira and Jed and the team is providing here is information to help you to win. Guess what else? We're giving you this information free. So if you become the client, can you imagine how much more further we're going to take you? Much, much further. So Dr. Felicia, thanks for that share. Awesome share as usual.
Quick thing. When it comes
Go
to
ahead.
Pitch Deck 101, so Pitch Deck 101 is a full service comprehensive entity that can assist you. So Gary, when he was talking about the FICO scores, we was talking about qualifying to get better interest rates and so forth and so on. Well, Pitch Deck is here, and Pitch Deck is able to provide what you and to get you fiscally fit, to get you structurally fit when it comes to your business, to get you where you are in a position to qualify for better rates. They're able to do that. So proactively, before you begin to look at borrowing monies or looking at real estate investments and not being optimally prepared, Pitch Deck 101 LLC is able to get you fiscally fit in order to be better prepared to win and to garner the properties that you so desire, or the entities, or whatever it is, the equipment or whatever it is that you need. We're able to provide that for you, and the team is there waiting to hear from you, to deal with to have a consultation with you, so that we can get you fiscally fit, so that you win. Gary,
You're correct. Yes. You're perfectly correct. We get you financially fit, physically fit to win in business. So Dr. Felicia is correct. So if you're thinking about getting involved into real estate, you want to own your first corporate building, to set up your business, you need capital to make that happen. Capital is not an issue. Not an issue. Forget about the problems. We bring the solution. As Dr. Felicia said, we are a comprehensive business support organization, and we are here serious about helping you to go further in business. So thanks again, Dr. Felicia. Always great to have you. I will now go to our ad break, and then I'll come back and we will be talking about vision, influence, and grit. We're talking about the men who built the United States of America. So stay tuned for that. This business can give you a tremendous competitive advantage. Why? You're able to access a very large market in excess of 333 million consumers. You're able to access technology, and also you're able to access a diversified financial portfolio, meaning debt, equity, credit, creative financing, and hard money lending. We at Pitch Deck 101 LLC out of New York, we have started this signature project titled the Business Growth Summit 101 that will give you a step-by-step guide in terms of how to start a U.S. business, how to scale that U.S.-based business, and how to cash flow from a position of strength. So we encourage you to join us on a daily basis as we take you through this journey of starting and scaling your business. Access to capital is vital for the sustainable development of every business. But in spite of this, we see millions of businesses struggle to access capital. Business Growth Summit 101 in 2023 has been built out to address this challenge. On this platform, we will talk about how to access debt, equity, credit, creative financing, and hard money lending. We will also work with our clients to ensure that you understand not only how to access, but how to leverage and how to mitigate these financial portfolios that will really give you, the entrepreneur, a tremendous financial competitive advantage. So we encourage you to join us on these platforms on a daily basis that will truly enable you to transform the landscape of doing business. Our sales communication process stands on four important pillars. One, you get to understand the sales process, the communication process, the pull factors of sales communication, and the push factors of sales communication. The success of every business ultimately rests on the shoulder of your sales processes. Business Growth Summit 101 in 2023 will give you the blueprint on how to build and apply this sales communication process to truly optimize the growth and cash flow potential of your business. So we encourage you to join us on a daily basis and learn how to apply these practical tools to growing and scaling your brands. Okay, welcome back to the Business Growth Summit 101. As promised, today I'm going to be talking about vision, influence, and grit. Now, I want to begin by saying that America, I keep saying, is one of the greatest countries to be in. Because the fact that once you're in America and you understand how the American system works, it provides tremendous opportunities for you, tremendous opportunities. But you need to understand the system. There are great leaders within the United States who clearly demonstrate how great America is. And the greatness of America is very historical. I say this from the standpoint that when you look at American history, you learn about great minds, you learn about the rock stars of the days gone long with history. You learn about the Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt is one of the great entrepreneurs who was into shipping and then into railways. He is one of the person that shaped in New York. He was actively involved in building out three main railways in the United States of America. He's responsible for the Harlem Railroad. He's responsible for the Houston Railroad, and he's responsible for the Central. So if you ever heard about Grand Central in the United States of America in New York, these are some of the great minds behind shaping the United States of America. We have other great minds like the Andrew Carnegie. The Carnegie played a very tremendous role in steel. When it was seen that America was going flat, he said, hey, we can go up. And it's because of these visionaries, we now have skyscrapers in the United States of America. Great visionary. This is vision. This is influence. This is grit. We also have great minds like the Rockefellers, who started off in kerosene, and he made his way all up to gas. And today his legacy still lives. This is some of the rich history of the great minds, the great visionary influencers, and people that has grit in the United States that laid that foundation for America to be what it is today. You have great minds like the John D. Rockefellers. You have great minds like the Ford, Ford behind automobile. These guys just did not become successful. Their path was challenged. As time progressed, I will talk about that. I will talk about these great minds. that helped build America. The big question that we want to ask you today: what is your vision to build? Do you have the influence to move your vision to the next stage? Do you have the grit? We're going to go into this today to really help you to understand what they had in common. All right, the JP Morgan. The JP Morgan, they have a very, permanent fixture in the US today. If you ever walk into a JP Morgan bank, a Chase Bank, um, these are the great minds that helped in shaping America. The JP Morgan is, the son is the one that invested with Thomas Edison. And that's the reason why we have light today. The DC light that, we're using today is because of the JP Morgan investment into these innovators that help the world to be what it is today. So these are some of the great minds that helped shape America. And in my research, what I'm seeing, these great minds had something in common. They all were proactive leaders. And of course, proactive leadership is a term that we would have developed at Pitch Deck 101 based on the research that we are doing. But what exactly is the face of a proactive leader? And I will walk you through this today because my vision here is that you develop the vision, you develop the influence and the grit to be successful in business. We are here to give you that support. Now, what is the face of proactive leadership? There are three things that makes a proactive leader stands out. They think ahead, which is vision. They master the, the ability to think ahead. What are you thinking ahead about? And I will further clarify that as we go into today's program. So these great guys, they master the ability to think ahead. They had a clear mental vision in terms of what they want to accomplish. And they didn't allow size of that vision to scare them off because they had vision, influence, and grit. The second thing that I saw these guys had in common, they mastered the ability to see beyond problems. And I will clarify that as I go deeper into today's program. Because many persons, you become stuck in the problem zone. But these great visionaries, these great influencers, these people with grit, they had the ability to see beyond the problem. Are you seeing beyond the problem that is before you as you take practical steps to position yourself to be successful in business? Are you seeing beyond the problem or are you being stuck in the problem zone? The third thing that these guys had in common, they mastered the ability to take informed action. And I talk about this. There's a major difference between taking action and informed action. Before the end of this short broadcast today, I will help you to understand what it takes to think ahead, to be a proactive leader, what it takes to see beyond problems as a proactive leader, and what it takes to take informed action as a proactive leader. Let's break this down. What exactly does it mean to think ahead? Andrew Carnegie, Vanderbilt, Rockefeller, the Ford, the JP Morgan, they all had the foresight and the ability to think ahead. What exactly am I talking about here? One of the things that I want to encourage you to think ahead about is what I'm going to call your cash flow projection. If you're in business, you need to have a clear mental picture of the financial targets that you're setting for yourself. It's not enough to set the financial target. You need to set the financial target based on data. You heard Jed spoke early on about the kind of data that you need to have. So you don't set a financial projection based on a speculation, based on a hunch, based on a speculated expert opinion. And we got a whole lot of that. All right. I'm going to give you some creoles now. You got a whole lot of folks that are giving you an expert opinion that is based on speculations. They have no solid data. It's a speculation. My perception of that, my perception of you is this speculation. The great minds who built America, the visionaries, the influencers, the people with the grit, they went beyond speculation as an expert opinion. They developed their cash flow projection based on data. They had the ability, the foresight to get these kinds of information. Are you positioning yourself to be this type of leader who's thinking ahead based on data? Secondly, they had a cash flow game plan. You see, it's not enough to say this is how much I want to achieve financially. This is how far I want to take my business. It's not enough to say that, because you can have a beautiful blueprint in terms of how much you want to cash flow your business. But do you have a corresponding cash flow game plan that is aiding that vision that you have for yourself? These great minds who built America, they had this system built out in some form or fashion. The beauty about it is that today you have more modern approaches to help you move that process forward. But in spite of the fact that you have more modern approaches, more modern tools to help you to move your success trajectory forward, you have many of these guys who were way beyond you, didn't have all of these technology, but they had the vision, the influence, and the grit to go much further than you in a modern culture is not taking empowered and inspired action to achieve it. So these are some of the things that they had. But let me break this down a little bit further. What exactly does your cash flow game plan represent? It represents having the right human resources on your side. All right, the right human resources on your side at the strategic, tactical, and operational level of the organization. It's not just about having people to fill your organization chart, it's having the right human resources at the strategic, tactical, and operational level of the organization to move the vision forward. What does your vision say about this? Are you visualizing this? Do you have the influence to take the action to achieve the desired results? Do you have the grit? I'll explain later down what the grit really represents. All right. These are all things that is necessary. Technical resources to achieve the financial goals that you're going to be setting yourself. You need to have technical support. All of these guys that I've just talked about, the men who built America, they were some of the richest people in the world. Some of the richest people in the world. The Rockefeller today, he left a legacy that is better known as the Exxon Mobil today, that is in so many parts of the world. Visionary leadership, influence, grit. The history of these institutions is over 100 years. That talks about grit. Now, as you take steps to achieve the vision, like these great minds who built America, they also understand the importance of financial capital. And as Dr. Felicia would have said early on, sometimes you have the vision, you have the influence, you have perhaps some of the grit. But what is undermining your vision from becoming real is access to capital. The great minds who would have built the United States of America, they break through this barrier that we call access to capital. Later on, I will talk about the stock exchange market and the history of the stock exchange market and the role that it might have played in helping some of these guys to grow and scale. You don't have to worry about access to capital because Dr. Felicia just eloquently mapped out the fact that you can get access to debt, equity, credit, creative financing, and hard money lending. Jade also emphasized this fact that when you're working with Pitch Deck 101 LLC out of New York, we give you the support that you need to access these financial instruments: debt, equity, credit, creative financing, and hard money lending. So as you think ahead, these are things that you want to be thinking ahead about. The great minds thought about it. They didn't just have a vision and they pause on the vision. They think through the entire process. And that's the real art of thinking ahead. Are you in that position of strength where you're applying your visionary skill set to think ahead, like the great minds who would have built the United States of America? You have the potential to achieve greatness too. But who's the mentor? Who's your coach? Who's your sponsor? What support community do you have behind you? I'll talk about that before I end today's program. So access to capital is no longer a problem. And these are things that you want to think ahead. So you can now think ahead about this. You can have that vision. And when, if that vision requires X amount of capital, X amount of human resource, X amount of technical resource, you can reach out to Pitch Deck 101 LLC out of New York. And we are here to give you that support because we are a comprehensive business support organization. So there you had it in the brief, thinking ahead. The great minds, the Vanderbilt, the Carnegie, the Rockefellers, the Ford, the JP Morgan, these guys thought ahead. They could have never achieved what they achieved, that left a legacy 100 years after, without thinking ahead. Some of the things that I give you are some of the tools that they would apply to think ahead. But let's now talk about seeing beyond problems, because there's a lot of people, you have vision, you have dreams for yourself. You're thinking ahead of these things, but guess what? You're stuck now in the problem zone, because as you think ahead, you know that you have now to get your cash flow projection, but you're asking yourself, how can I get this done? You have to get your cash flow game plan. You're asking yourself, how can I get this done? And I'm saying to you, if you have a vision and you need help in developing your cash flow projection, your cash flow game plan, and you now want to start thinking beyond the problems, you can come to us. Come to us at Pitch Deck 101 LLC out of New York, 10X B&M LLC, and we can help you see beyond the problem. So you're no longer stuck in the problem zone. The great visionaries who built America, they did not allow themselves to be stuck in the problem zone. You don't have to be stuck in the problem zone because you have a well-oiled working machine in the name of Pitch Deck 101 LLC that is here to give you that support. You have so many passionate people. You heard the passion that Dr. Felicia spoke with. You heard about the passion that Jed spoke with. You heard about the passion that Dr. Shakira spoke about. These are people that are bringing a high level of energy, knowledge, and commitment to support you to move a vision forward. So we're talking here now about seeing beyond the problems. So everything that I've talked about early on in thinking ahead, for most people, it become where you're stuck because you can see it, but you can't get beyond it. You know how to achieve everything that I've talked about based on the information that I give you. All right. You want to have a clear target. Data-driven cash flow projection. You know how to achieve that. All right. You want to know how to achieve it. We talk about that too. Data-driven cash flow game plan. We're going to help you with all of that. Now let's talk a little bit about vision, influence, and grit. Everything that I've just talked about are essential tools, are essential elements that needs to come together for a positive end result. Vision is bringing all of this together. the human resource, the technical resource, the capital resource, the cash flow projection, the cash flow game plan to achieve a specific end result. We can give you that support. It's called visionary leadership. Let's talk about influence. What exactly is influence? It's being a person of influence. And I want to define influence because very often we use terms of influence without fully understanding it. You know, influence, as I talk about influence, I'm remembering what Jada spoke about. What is your influence with your workforce? What is your influence with your consumers? What is your influence with the public? These are all areas that you want to become a person of influence. Because in the absence of being a person of influence in these critical areas of taking steps to become a great mind, a great leader in business, it will be undermined. It will be undermined. So you want to become a person of influence across these different boards. You want to be able to connect with people, build healthy, productive relationship with people that not only serve your interest, but serve the interest of the collective. I love talking about this, of the collective. That's how great leaders think in business, especially in today's day. There's a lot of, you know, pages and chapters that we would be able to take away from the men who built America. But we also need to take into consideration that this is a new day. This is a modern day. And things have changed. And we have to adopt ourselves. We have to be proactive, thinking ahead, seeing beyond problems, and taking practical steps to achieve a desired result based on the global economic changes that is taking place. I'm happy to say to you again that we at Pitch Deck 101 LLC, we are here to give you that support, to adjust to modern trends, to adjust to economic realities so you can win in business. Now, what is grit? What is grit? Grit is a representation of passion and staying power. Passion and staying power. You know, very often I interface with people that have great vision, but it just didn't have the grit, the passion, and the staying power. Your passion and grit was for a day, for a week, for a month. What if your passion and grit has to go for a year or a few years before it actually becomes real? You don't have the grit. You see, I would say to my kids, you know, once you have a clear mental picture of where you want to go and the potential of achieving what you want to achieve from where you're going, you stick to it. If it takes 5 years, you stick to it. If it takes 10 years, you stick to it. They're able to stick to that vision because they have done the absolute biodata analytics. They understand the market realities. They understand the market based on demographic realities, psychographic realities, and geographic realities. So they clearly understand it's possible. And we're going to stick with a vision. We're going to have the grit until we achieve the objective. Do you have the grit? I'm happy to say that we at Pitch Deck 101 LLC and 10X B&M LLC, we have developed a number of training programs that is designed to help you build the right vision, become the influencers that you deserve to be, with the grit that you need to have to be successful in business. We have the ecosystem that we have built up. We have spent quite a number of years preparing these content. Now that this content is prepared, we are now going to filter this information out. You see, we want you to win. So we've spent quite a number of years doing that research to ensure that you win. The last concepts that I'm going to come to talk about today is informed action. As I said, great leaders, like the guys who built America, like the folks who continue to invest in shaping the image of the world, They know how to take informed action. So it goes beyond action. Let us say that you bring yourself to the point you take in action, you come to that point of success. You need to also associate yourself with people that can help you to take informed action. Again, this is where Pitch Deck 101 comes in with our team. What exactly am I saying when I say take informed action? Do you have a mentor on your side? And just not just any mentor, a mentor who have been there, done that, they know the process, and they're willing to transfer that wealth of knowledge to you. Do you have a mentor? I'm saying to you that in Pitch Deck 101 LLC out of New York, 10X B&M LLC out of New York, you have a mentor in us. We are willing to transfer that our knowledge to you. And if you're doubting that, you're guessing if we are serious about this, look back at the information that we provide to you over this last week. We are demonstrating to you our serious commitment to provide the content of information to you to ensure that you win in business. Do you have a coach? The type of coach that is willing to transform information to you to ensure that you win. Now, there are differences with mentors and coach, right? The mentor may provide the information. A coach is going to be there cheering you on. Think about, playing rugby or basketball. The coach is always on the sideline cheering you on. Do you have a coach? You have a team of coach who are private equity investors, real estate investors, business consultants, certified public accountants. You have a team of mentor and coach that is here to give you that support to ensure that you win in business, you succeed in business. You too can become perhaps the next Rockefeller, perhaps the next Vanderbilt, perhaps the next JP Morgan. The world is in need of great visionaries that can shape global opinion in the way it ought to be shaped. Across a landscape where you're bringing equitable opportunities for people to grow and achieve the greatness that they have in them to achieve. Do you have a sponsor? A sponsor is different because the sponsor is someone that is going to say, hey, I like what you're doing. I got your back. I'm going to open some doors. I'm going to kick some walls down. I'm going to move the mountains to ensure that you succeed. Do you have the right sponsors on your side? Dr. Felicia is willing to be your sponsor. She's going to ensure that you get access to hard money lending. She's going to ensure that you get access to credit financing. She's going to ensure that you get access to these different type of financing so you don't have to struggle to access capital to make your dream become real. Do you have a sponsor? Jed is going to sponsor you to help you to understand the sales communication process. He's going to sponsor you and he's going to work with you to ensure that you understand the sales process, the communication process, the pull factors of sales communication, the push factors of sales communication, all of which you need to win in business. Access to capital is only one leg in the game. You need to understand market data. Jade will give you that kind of information. Alu will give you that kind of information to ensure that you win. Do you have the right sponsor? Dr. Shakira, she will a certified real estate agent. She's going to help you to understand the entire process of how to start investing in real estate. So you can work hard for the money, but when you understand real estate and how money works, you can also put real estate to work harder than you could ever work and pay you when you sleep. Do you have the right sponsor? The team here at Pitch Deck 101 LLC, we have the mentor, the coach, the sponsor, the support community that is here to empower you to achieve your optimum best in business. Your best in business, your optimal in business. We are here to give you that support. So we're saying to you, you need to believe in yourself. All right. You need to become the visionary, the influencer that has grit. You need to believe in yourself. Do you believe in the American dream? Do you want to be, as a foreign national, do you want to set up your operation in the US? We can help you accomplish that. You need to believe in yourself. You need to have mentor. You need to have coach. You need to have a sponsor. You need to have a support community. And I invite you to see us here at Pitch Deck 101 LLC and 10X B&M LLC as the institution that's going to provide this business success ecosystem to you to ensure that you win. All right, so these are my last words. I want you to commit to become the visionary of today, the influencer of today, with the grit and believe in yourself that you have the ability to become the global thinker, the social actor, and the transformational leader in business. If the Rockefeller can do it, you can do it. If the JP Morgans can do it, I know it's big dreams, but I believe in you. You need to start believing in yourself. All right, so I trust that you enjoyed today's presentation of vision, influence, and grit to succeed. All right, so with that, I want to thank Dr. Felicia, Dr. Shakira, and Jet Thompson for being with me today on this wonderful program. All right, so any last words before we close today? I know, Dr. Felicia, you always have so much to share. You are an inspiration to me and my team. I really love your energy. The kids love your energy. Anything last words that you guys want to share? Can we start with Dr. Felicia? And then I come to Dr. Shakira.
The bottom line, this has been a wonderful show. A lot of, boatload of information. And I think when you drill down, you said it at the onset, Gary, Jade said it, Dr. Shakira said it, is that we want to see folks win. And that's the bottom line. And here at Pitch Deck 101 LLC, this is the place. You're at the right place at the right time. But we want each one to reach one, teach one, tell someone. If you listen in on the show, definitely tell someone about this great show. Over to you, Dr. Shakira.
Yeah, I agree with Dr. Felicia. Everyone did a wonderful job. And just consider reaching out to pitchdeck101.org. We are here to support you.
Thanks, Dr. Felicia. Thanks, Dr. Shakira. The mighty Jet Thompson. How are you guys?
I'm doing good, and it's definitely been a pleasure to be here with you guys, and it's a pleasure to hear all of you guys presentate. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and don't forget, feel free to visit our website, which is pitchdeck101.org, to learn more about what we do. Thank you.
All right, thanks. Thanks, Jen. Now, I want to say today's Saturday, the 6th day of this broadcast. I want to thank, everyone across the world who have been listening in, looking in, giving us feedback. It is your energy that help us to sustain what we are doing. As Dr. Felicia would have asked, do share this program into your community to help us to reach those persons that really need the help to grow and scale it in business. And we'll do this again on Monday. You may be seeing some very new faces very soon. You will be hearing from our CPA and other talents. It's tax season in the US, so our tax consultants, they are busy at work taking care of tax related issues. But there's so much that we have stored up for you, and I want to encourage you to look at the website to learn more about what we are doing. So with that being said, I want to thank Dr. Felicia, Dr. Shakira, Jade Thompson for being here with us today. And we'll do this again next week.
All right. Take care.
Goodbye. Starting a US based business can give you a tremendous competitive advantage. Why? You're able to access a very large market in excess of 333 million consumers. You're able to access technology, and also you're able to access a diversified financial portfolio, meaning debt, equity, credit, creative financing, and hard money lending. We at Pitch Deck 101 LLC out of New York, we have started this signature project titled the Business Growth Summit 101 that will give you a step-by-step guide in terms of how to start a US business, how to scale that US-based business, and how to cash flow from a position of strength. So we encourage you to join us on a daily basis as we take you through this journey of starting and scaling your business. Our sales communication process stands on 4 important pillars. One, you get to understand the sales process, the communication process, the pull factors of sales communication, and the push factors of sales communication. The success of every business ultimately rests on the shoulder of your sales processes. Business Growth Summit 101 in 2023 will give you the blueprint on how to build and apply this sales communication process to truly optimize the growth and cash flow potential of your business. So we encourage you to join us on a daily basis and learn how to apply these practical tools to growing and scaling your brands. Access to capital is vital for the sustainable development of every business. But in spite of this, we see millions of businesses struggle to access capital. Business Growth Summit 101 in 2023 has been built out to address this challenge. On this platform, we will talk about how to access debt, equity, credit, creative financing, and hard money lending. We will also work with our clients to ensure that you understand not only how to access, but how to leverage and how to mitigate these financial portfolios that will really give you, the entrepreneur, a tremendous financial competitive advantage. So we encourage you to join us on these platforms on a daily basis that will truly enable you to transform the landscape of doing business.